Several studies since the 1990s have documented sloppy credit bureau practices that led to mistakes on credit reports, for which consumers pay the price. Consumers with serious errors on their credit reports can be denied credit, home loans, apartment rentals, auto insurance, or even medical coverage and the ability to open a bank account or use a debit card. Consumers with serious errors on their reports who do obtain credit or a loan may have to pay higher interest rates because of the mistakes falsely placed them in the subprime, high-cost lending pool. In 2004, the National Association of State Public Interest Research Groups conducted a study in which they asked adults in 30 states to order their credit reports and complete a survey on the report's accuracy. Key findings include 25% of credit reports surveyed contained serious errors that could result in the denial of credit, such as false delinquencies or accounts that did not belong to the consumer. 54% of credit reports contained personal demographic information that was misspelled, long outdated, belonged to a stranger, or was otherwise inaccurate. 22% of credit reports listed the same mortgage or loan twice. Almost 8% of the credit reports were missing major credit, loan, mortgage, or other consumer accounts that demonstrate the creditworthiness of the consumer. 30% of the credit reports contained credit accounts that had been closed by the consumer but remained listed as opened. Altogether, 83% of credit reports surveyed contained either serious errors or other mistakes of some kind. Credit bureaus make their living selling lists of people with less than perfect credit to banks, auto dealership, credit card, and other lending companies. Unfortunately for you, the consumer, it's not in the bureau's best interest to let you know how to improve your credit situation, as the aforementioned institutions don't buy lists of good or great credit holders. That group of people aren't interested in the high interest loans and credit cards that reap the most profit for potential lenders. The three major credit reporting companies, Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion, maintain files on nearly 90% of all adults in America. Those files are routinely sold to credit grantors as well as landlords, employers, insurance companies, and many others interested in the credit record of a consumer, often without the consumer's knowledge or permission. Who hasn't received mail from a credit card company exclaiming, "You're pre-approved"? On balance, each bureau averages $145 of informational sales per year on each credit account they have on file. Approximately 220 million consumers times $145 makes for a $30 billion payday for each bureau. It financially behooves each bureau to not actively seek complete accuracy in everyone's credit report. To say the relationship is adversarial is to say the least. Your credit score is calculated using a myriad of algorithms based on a single premise. Do you show the possibility of becoming 90 days late on an account within the next 2 years? In that, your credit is calculated using 5 different categories listed on the pie chart. Each credit bureau has a specific individual scoring model not known to the general public. However, all follow the standards set by Fair Isaac, or FICO, and are representative in the percentages on the pie chart. Your payment history accounts for 35% of your credit score. It is the biggest factor in the Fair Isaac scoring system. Any recent late payments are a big reflection that you will default, and your credit score will diminish. It's really quite simple. Pay your bills on time. That doesn't mean putting a payment in the mail on the due date. It is imperative every payment be in the hands on or before the due date. Even being a day late could cause adverse issues. Yes, all credit purveyors are required to offer a grace period, which is typically 10 days. The exact date you make your payment is recorded in the lender's database. If you need to get funding from that specific lender in the future, they will take into account when and how you have paid them in the past. Remember, the scoring model is based on the potential to go 90 days late on an account within the next 2 years. Any recent late payments are a big reflection to the bureaus that one will default, and your credit score plummets as a result. Your creditor cannot report you late unless you are 30 days late. but they will claim they need 10 days to process your payment also. So don't think just because you mailed your payment on the due date that they will not report you late. I counsel everyone to avail themselves of electronic payment systems most creditors and banks have in place, which are safe and secure. If you need to take your payment to the last day due, you can do it online and be guaranteed it's where it should be at the exact time. Some creditors even give you a discount to pay online, eliminating paper billing. Credit utilization ratio. The most misunderstood part of your credit score are the amounts you owe in relation to the credit available. They account for 30% of your score. This is called credit utilization ratio, or CUR. I hear constantly, how can my scores be so low? I've paid all my bills on time. Here's the reality of it. A lender has granted you a credit line of $10,000. If you have charged $2,000 against that line, your CUR is 20%. If your CUR exceeds 30%, the bureaus start to get nervous and your credit score will suffer a few points. If your CUR exceeds 50%, a red flag goes up and your scores will go down drastically. Above 70%, and your scores will tank, especially if you have multiple revolving lines with high balances on each. The average American has 4.3 credit cards. Let's say with each card there is a 55% CUR. Further, let's say that each card in that position causes your score to go down 10 points. Now multiply that by 4.3. A nice score of 730 will go into the 680s and your good credit is now well below average. At one time, almost on a daily basis, I would hear of people who have an otherwise unblemished credit history have scores in the high 500s or low 600s. The culprit is their CUR. In today's world, it can also prevent you from getting any further unsecured credit. When you pay these balances back below the safe thresholds, your scores will immediately go back up. However, the previous high balances are noted on your credit bureau report for future lenders to see. Pay your amounts as close to 1% as you can, but make sure you keep your balances below 30%. Don't fall into the trap of moving all of your balances to one card due to a low interest rate. Spread them over several and pay down the high interest rate cards quicker. Length of credit history. The length of your credit history and the amounts of credit granted accounts for 15% of your score. Do not close old accounts. Closing old unused accounts can have a negative effect on your score. Old accounts are very valuable. As a matter of fact, if you have a credit card from years ago that is still open, keep it open. Charge small items regularly and pay the statement as agreed each month. The longer you maintain an account, the better it is for your scores. This demonstrates to future lenders your ability to maintain credit on a long-term basis. Lenders like history length. You should also know how credit limits can help your score. Higher limits put a greater value on your credit credibility. Opening accounts with high available credit will show someone else has already put their trust in you. High limits already granted will put a potential lender at ease when they contemplate extending large amounts of new credit. When determining credit history length, creditors mainly look at individual accounts. An account that has been opened and regularly used for a few years is going to influence your score more than a newly opened account that has only been used a few times. They also consider how long it has been since accounts were last used. An account that is open but hasn't been used in years will have little bearing compared to one that is open and regularly used. This is why it is nearly impossible to get an 800 score at a young age. As you have more accounts throughout your life and your history grows over time, your scores will naturally increase due to this factor. Being added as an authorized user to an account with a long pay history is another way to increase your scores. But be careful how you do this. Any missteps and you can damage not only your credit score, but also that of your co-signer. Type of credit used. The mix of credit you utilize is responsible for 10% of your score. The two types of credit reflected in your credit mix are secured and unsecured. Secured credit includes homes, cars, and like items that secure your loan. Unsecured credit is made up of credit cards, department store cards, and personal loans. If you have not pledged collateral, it is considered unsecured. Lenders become wary of too much unsecured credit as default rates tend to be higher. A perfect credit mix is a mortgage, a vehicle payment, and one of each credit card, Visa, MasterCard, and Discover. If you have a ton of credit cards, your scores will be lowered. If you have several mortgages, your scores will be lowered. Any unhealthy account mixes lowers your scores. The preferred number of credit cards is 3. This means you will actually have a higher credit score if you have 3 open credit cards than if you had only 2 or less. But don't run out and cancel your cards just yet. Remember, 30% of your score is comprised of the balances in relation to your high credit limit. So keep your cards open, but focus on having 3 large balanced cards for maximum impact. New credit. New credit makes up the remaining 10% of your scores. New credit is directly related to the amount of inquiries you've incurred over the last several years. Each time you apply for a loan of any sort, the lender will inquire as to your credit worthiness by pulling your credit report. Each of these inquiries can result in up to 4 points being deducted from your credit score. There are 2 things to know here. First, pulling your own credit report does not count as a hard inquiry. It will not damage your score. Second, built into the scoring system is a mechanism which allows the lender to pull your reports multiple times without devastating effects. For example, you are shopping for a mortgage. You want to check pricing from several mortgage vendors. They all need to pull your credit and do so. Generally, if this is done within a 2-week period, your score will only suffer from the first inquiry. If you apply for a mortgage today, your scores might drop 1 to 4 points. But if you apply for a car, a mortgage, and a few credit cards this week, your scores will drop significantly. The same applies if you have 12 car dealers pull your credit or if one dealer has 12 banks pull your credit. A lot of credit pulls in a short period of time will have a great impact on your scores. Yes, all inquiries will show and will remain on your credit report for 6 months to 2 years. However, your score will not suffer from each individual pull. Same thing applies for a vehicle or other secured loans. The FCRA allows you 2 inquiries per month per bureau without dinging your credit. So as they say, try not to spend them all in one place. Is credit management legal? There is no doubt that the numerous dishonest acts of many big box credit repair companies and certain individuals have given credit repair a bad name, a double black eye reputation, if you will. When reviewing information about credit repair from government websites and pamphlets, the word scam is usually in close proximity to credit repair. The FTC website states that no one can legally remove accurate or timely negative information from a credit report. This is echoed in other government resources as well, stating that the removal of accurate and timely negative information from a credit report is illegal. Many people take this to mean that credit repair itself is illegal. They're absolutely wrong. Credit repair, or management as I call it, by definition is the process of improving a person's credit score. It isn't just about removing negative information. It also involves adding positive credit accounts and other credit profiling techniques that can help raise a consumer's credit score. Is it illegal to add positive accounts? Of course not. Is it illegal to build a positive payment history? Once again, no. Is it illegal to change your credit utilization ratio to raise your score? Obviously, the answer is once again no. But what about removing negative accounts? Under the FCRA, consumers have a right to request an investigation into items on their credit report. Here's what the FCRA says about the removal of disputed information. Treatment of inaccurate or unverifiable information in general after any reinvestigation under paragraph I of any information disputed by a consumer, an item of the information is found to be inaccurate or incomplete or cannot be verified, the consumer reporting agency shall promptly delete that item of information from the file of the consumer or modify that item of information as appropriate, based on the results of the investigation, and promptly notify the furnisher of that information that the information has been modified or deleted from the file of the consumer. FCRA 611A5A. This text clearly states that any item found to be inaccurate or incomplete or that cannot be verified must be removed or corrected where appropriate. As a consumer, you have a right to make sure that every item on your credit report is accurate, complete, verifiable, and timely. The credit repair process may involve issues with any of the above points. Is a credit limit wrong? That's a problem. If you have a right to have it corrected, or if the bureau or the creditor can't get their stuff together enough to figure it out, then it should be removed. Is information missing? It's been a common tactic of creditors to leave out key information when reporting accounts in order to make the customer's credit look worse than it is. They do this to create captive customers who won't look as good to other competing lenders. One famous example of this is Capital One's practice of withholding credit limits as cited in the written testimony of attorney Leonard A. Bennett before the House Committee on Financial Services. Missing information can cause unjust and undeserved harm to your credit and finances, and you have a right to correct it. Is the information verifiable? If a creditor can't verify that the information they are reporting is correct, then it should be removed from your credit report. What is the date of last activity? DOLA. Should the item have expired? Unfortunately, another common practice of creditors and collectors is what is known as re-aging. Re-aging involves reporting a false date of last activity to make the negative item look newer than it really is. This keeps the negative item on your credit report longer and makes it more damaging to your score. If you find re-aging on a negative item on your credit report, you have a right to dispute it. Everything I've mentioned here is legitimate and legal and a regular part of what I call credit repair. Is there some part of credit repair that is illegal? The sad reality is that some people and companies tout so-called credit repair tactics in the way of information and services that are, in fact, dishonest, unethical, and illegal. For example, some companies promote or sell CPN numbers, which are basically a fake Social Security number or taxpayer ID number. CPN numbers are illegal and should not be considered a part of legitimate credit repair. Another common so-called tactic of some so-called credit repair experts goes something like this. Just dispute all the negative information on your report is not mine. Disputing everything on your report is not yours when it is indeed yours is dishonest, unethical, and probably illegal. In my opinion, is fraud. There are enough ways to honestly go about the credit management process without resorting to lying. Besides, if you dispute based on fact, you are more likely to have legal ground to stand on when a credit bureau creditor fails to comply with the law. So in response to the question, is credit repair legal? Well, the answer is yes. If you act with honesty and integrity, then credit repair is most definitely legal. There are legitimate, ethical, and moral steps you can take to get back to where you were before life made overtures. I understand fully that personal credit is just that, personal, and sometimes it might be just a little bit embarrassing. If you have any questions, any questions at all, please don't hesitate to contact me at the email address listed here. All correspondence is kept in strict confidence. I have that history. Thanks for listening.